Hello everyone, my name is TheMadScorpyon and welcome to another iteration of Xurs Weekly Exotic Stock Update, which it seems like Bungie was officially listening because the class items are once again here. I made a mention in my video when they mentioned that class items were coming to Xur, that if they weren't permanent, then it wasn't going to be good. If they were random, it would be a bit of a crapshoot, but it's been consistent the past 3 weeks we've gotten class items, so I'm starting to think it might just be every week we have the class items, which good on them. That's good out to farm, especially if these are infinite as long as you have the coin. But into the mainstay, we have first the Legend of Acrius Catalyst, which I will say get if you don't have it. Please get this. Trench Barrel and increased ammo in the mag, plus I think ammo in maximum. Acrius Catalyst, while it may not be the most actionable gun in every scenario, if there's a close range fight that you could use swords for, Acrius will probably do better. I'd recommend getting this for anyone who is looking for either a fun gun or an interestingly effective gun. But next, we do have the Suros Redeem Catalyst, which is a Crucible-based one. This is one of those ones that I mentioned probably could use an update, considering you still need over like 200 Crucible kills to actually get this Catalyst done, but it makes it so that the perk on Suros where getting kills can randomly reward you health will increase the chance that your kills will regen your health. It's not exactly needed, at least in terms of the PvE, well, maybe in the PvE sense. The PvP sense, it's still pretty good. Suros is a pretty good one overall in PvP always. Not needed, but if you get it, hey, you can get it. Next, in terms of armor, we have the Ophidia Spathe, which isn't that complicated. It grants you 2 throwing knives per charge. Getting a final blow with the throwing knife will give you, grants consecutive knives and temporary stacking damage bonus, and Gambler's Dodge refreshes the timer. So if you want to keep up a knife damage build with the Trick of Fans, it kind of works it. However, it is specifically throwing knife, so it only works on the Gunslinger. So if you wanted to apply this to different melee builds and have double melee charge, unfortunately that does not count. It has to be throwing knives specifically. Next is the Mask of the Quiet One, something in dire need of reworks. It's still working on its original perks, grants ability energy when you're damaged, and when critically wounded, you gain maximum health on kills. Now, I don't know if you recall, let's use this as an example. Let's say this is the health bar. Let's say this is, I'm repeating myself, but this is the full health bar, 10 tiers. Health is only like the bottom 2. And when it says gives you maximum health on kills, it only gives you that last bit. I'm sure anyone who has played will notice that the health bar, it is normal and solid gray. Then as soon as it gets down to a lower point, it turns red, and that's when the shield break heartbeat occurs. Then at that point, that is when you're in health and not shield. That is when Mask of the Quiet One goes for the regen. It doesn't give you back any shields though. It's good at keeping you up on health if you're critical, but otherwise it is not that great. But then as well, the ability energy earned, because it's a simple way that anyone as a Titan could earn, because obviously ability damage or taking damage, anyone can take damage. But at the same time, it is very limited in how much it gives. It's a pretty nifty looking exotic, but it has not been touched in ages. I feel like because if they do, it'll either be broken or it won't be. It'll still be the kind of trash it is. I feel like it needs a rework, honestly. And next, something I also kind of agree with needing rework, Prometheum Spur. While you are mid-daybreak, aka flying sword slashy, final blows create both a healing and empowering rift at the target's location, and while his solar super is equipped, solo weapon final blows grant you rift energy. Standing in a rift increases this energy gain, and final blows while in a rift consume class ability energy, create a healing and empowering rift at the target's location. Now, this is kind of like Cadmus Rage Lance Camp, but reversed, because with Cadmus Rage, whenever you killed something while behind a barricade, it spawns a stasis crystal on you. If this was spawning and healing or empowering rift on your location, I feel like it would be very good. The problem is this is defeating a target, and in endgame scenarios like GMs, there is rarely a scenario where you are either running Daybreak or are close enough to a target that you can actually take advantage of this, unless it is like a lone target that decided to rush you and gave you stuff. So it's okay, but I still feel like this is a rework required. Either make the rifts at your location, or otherwise, you know, there's that. And then there's the usual class items per character that you can buy in case you wanted to get those. But moving on into the weapons, the Hawk Moon is a quick draw Hawk Moon with the Hammerforged rifling for increased range, the usual alloy mag, as well as the heavy grip for bonus stability but less handling speed. Then again, it is Hawk Moon. There isn't much that actually changes, just slight stat differences. For the kinetic slot exotic, we have the Crimson, which I imagine is irrelevant now that Red Death is around. Essentially, this was Red Death version 2. It was a burst hand cannon, the only one of its kind still, because it's still the only one that fires 3-round bursts for hand cannons. But essentially, it had some pretty good stats. It's a Crucible monster still, if I recall. I still hate hearing the sound of this gun just because of how much it was oppressive in year 1 of Destiny 2 Crucible. Next is Borealis, which is a element change gun. It's pretty nifty, allegedly an aggressive frame sniper, even though it has more ammo than I recall, although extended mag makes sense. But regardless, it is an element change gun and actually has a nifty benefit where rotating between the 3 elements you do have gives you the associate benefit as elemental capacitor. But at the same time, its only good perk is pretty much anti-shield, where breaking combatant shield or the shield of a guardian using super with the match damage type will refill the magazine from reserves and grants bonus damage rounds for, I think, the next mag. But however, breaking combatant shield with the actually, no. Breaking combatant shield with the match damage type of Ionic Return as well will refresh the perk. So I guess if you only use it for breaking shields, this can be really good. The problem is, at the same time, shield breaking isn't as required as it once was now in Destiny 2 Grandmasters, when not having the right elemental shield was a heavy detriment, but at the same time, there is that. And I believe the Catalyst is another one of those outdated ones that only gives you stats, but I'm not 100% certain on that note. Then there is also the Two-Tailed Fox. It was irrelevant until it gained its catalyst mostly, because it had a perk where it shot 2 rockets at once, 1 void and 1 solar that track onto the same target. If it had multi-targeting, it might be different, but it had the initial perk where the void rocket would suppress enemies and the solar rocket would cause damage over time. This came out before Scorch, and it was reworked to accept Scorch, and suppression is pretty good, especially if you just need anti-overload. It is and just general shutdown. But then the catalyst actually made it so that you get a 3rd jolting rocket that is also arc damage into the array. So if you needed elemental light damage, this was the primo source of all of it. It was a damage king for a time, especially if it was like 1 Gallahorn, 1 Two-Tailed, and the rest all hothead rocket launchers. But it has since kind of been brought back into the fold of pretty good, but not worth exactly speccing everything out. Still, again, pretty good in my book. Then for the random weapons, we have Wolf Tone Draw, a precision arc frame bow, pretty solid one. I would definitely recommend it for some folks. Then Spare Rations, an adaptive kinetic hand cannon back from Season of the Deep. Wishbringer, a rapid fire frame solar shotgun from Season of Arrivals. Similarly so, the Widow's Bite is a solar rapid-fire frame sniper rifle from Season Arrivals, the classic Falling Guillotine from the same Season of Arrivals, the original Vortex Sword in Destiny 2. Then there is the Corsair's Wrath from Season of the Hunt, a precision frame solar linear fusion rifle, although not great perks, and per the usual, the variety of classic class swords in case you wanted to get the original damage versions and the original names, not the Menagerie version ones. But with that, that is the Xur exotic update. If you enjoyed this video, a like and subscribe, or just a comment down below letting me know that this helped is more than appreciated. And with that, I will see you in the next video.